Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
On that note, hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I always just like start recording and wait for something really fucking off the wall funny. I'm Sid Part 2, joining me today is...
A geek for fun.
No, why is everyone impersonating Alfie?
Because it's fun to try to do the accent.
I mean, like, I think you guys suck at it.
Yes, I'm aware.
Like, you're not doing a good job.
I know. Thank you. Hey, I'm that kid, and I can't do accents.
I can perfectly imitate Alfie's voice. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hello, Gardner, it's me, a gag for fun.
That's it. You did it.
Yeah.
Alfie, when did you join the call? Holy shit! You're here. Yay. Oh god.
Right, so the thing about Goku is...
Okay, but now you have to be Alfie doing his Morrison impression.
No. Objectively, I do not have to do anything. This is my show.
All right, fair
do
enough.
Not forget your place.
Okay, all right. I've been gone for a couple shows. You take the reins, good sir.
Indeed. And I'm going to take the reins and hand them right back over to you and ask, hey, Matt, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the Muppet Christmas Carol from 1992. So, like, over the past couple years, I've sort of just become a Muppets fan. Like, I don't really know how that happened. Like, I think shortly after Disney Plus came out, my wife Carly and I were, like, scrolling through it, and we realized it had a bunch of Muppets shit on there, and we were just like, we've never really, like, seen these. So we just kind of, like, spent the next, month or so just kind of watching a Muppet movie every couple days, and, like, I just really fucking fell in love with a lot of them. Like, Muppet Treasure Island, the original Muppet movie, and Muppet Christmas Carol, like, those three especially were just, like, so fucking enjoyable to me. And so I just kind of became a little bit of a Muppet fan, and I sort of just decided to make Muppet Christmas Carol my new favorite Christmas movie, because my parents used to always make us watch A Christmas Story, and I kind of fucking hate A Christmas Story, so now I just make us watch this instead.
Man, I'm sitting here thinking, oh shit, yeah, that's right, I've got to pick a movie to review next time. Oh hey, A Christmas Story is on HBO Max.
What it should really be is Jingle All the Way, because I fucking love that movie. But, so, no, I wanted to talk about Muppet Christmas Carol, because I really like it a lot. It's probably my favorite of the Muppets movies. Definitely one of my favorite Christmas movies, up there with, like, I don't know, Nightmare Before Christmas. And I just really like it a lot, and I want to talk about it, because it makes me happy, and it fills me with joy.
That's nice. So, I don't know, man, it's interesting for me because Christmas Carol is one of my favorite, like, Christmas things. Because we always do, like, It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Carol, and there's a couple other, like Rudolph, I guess, gets done, versions of it done a lot.
Yeah.
Where you just see, like, every fucking TV show and their brother does a take on A Christmas Carol, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm always curious to see different adaptations and what they're going to do with them and stuff. This is one, like, I'd seen bits and pieces of before. Like, I remember the Marley and Marley song. Mm-hmm. and I've seen like, you know, little bits here and there. I knew Michael Caine was in it and played Scrooge. So I was definitely curious to watch it. One thing I guess I was surprised by was the fact that they had original characters created to be the ghosts. Usually in adaptations you see like existing characters in the lore adapted to be the different ghosts.
Yeah.
Whether they're like that person just kind of showing up and filling that role, or they're like, you know, it's like a dream sequence or whatever, and it's just that person, that character playing the ghost, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting because like you have Statler and Waldorf being Jacob and Robert Marley as ghosts in this one, and they're of course always really funny. But then the three spirits are definitely brand new, and like, you know, they could have done deep pulls, like they could have used like Uncle Deadly for the Ghost of Christmas Future for something a little bit scarier. They could have used they probably could have used Fozzie for Ghost of Christmas Present, but I guess they wanted, because there's a character in the book called Fezziwig, I think it is, and they wanted the Fozzie wig, so they just wanted the fucking pun.
It's hard to resist those kind of moves, man.
It is, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit. I haven't like sat down and completely read A Christmas Carol, but I have actually, like, just the most recent time I watched it, I was watching this, and I also had like A Christmas Carol pulled up on my computer, like the book, and I was just kind of like glancing back and forth, and it's you can kind of tell just watching it, but when you actually have the book in front of you, it's crazy just how much dialogue and stuff like that is just straight out of the book, which is very fun to see. But yeah, they went with original, I guess, Muppets for the ghosts, which I think probably ended up working in their favor, because then you get the really creepy Ghost of Christmas Future, and like, man, he's great. He's terrifying.
I don't know. Like, I guess I've seen too many good Ghosts of Christmas Future, because like, I think if you're honestly looking for terrifying, I think Scrooged, it has objectively the scariest Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I think what makes this one work for me is that it's a very traditional Ghost of Christmas Future that's juxtaposed with all the like silly Muppet stuff. Because like the silly Muppet stuff, even like Gonzo's commentary as like Charles Dickens, that even like comes to a complete stop when you get to the Ghost of Christmas Future. So like, in a vacuum, it's probably not the scariest for sure, because it is still in like a kids movie, but I think like in the context it works really, really well.
I suppose that's fair. Honestly, you know, and this is probably gonna be the thing that gets me like crucified and shows kind of my cards here. Some of the Muppet comedic slapstick stuff really, like, honestly irked me a little bit watching this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, like, I liked the songs and I liked the characters. I thought they were all like well placed and stuff, and I thought I liked quite a bit of the like written gags and stuff, like the dialogue jokes and humor. A lot of the slapstick I found to just become like really distracting and like, you know, annoying, because it was just taking away time and moments from the plot and the characterizations and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. I think there are some bits with because like Gonzo and Rizzo are sort of like our window into the story, and they serve that role in other things. Like I'm pretty sure they do that in Muppet Treasure Island also. And I think a lot of the bits with them are pretty funny. A lot of their back and forth, they're just like, they're like witty back and forth banter is pretty funny. But there are moments where it's just like, okay, now we're like pausing for a minute so Rizzo can have his tail catch on fire and fall into some water.
That was the one for me that just like it just felt the longest detraction, and it's weird for me because I'm always really surprised. It doesn't matter how many adaptations of it I watch. I am always shocked whenever we get done with the second Ghost in A Christmas Carol adaptations. I am always just like, man, already? Wow. That means it's almost over. And it is, because like no matter how long it's been up until that point, and not saying that I want a fucking 3-hour adaptation of A Christmas Carol, but like no matter how long it's been up until that point, I always know that the Ghost of Christmas Future has very little left to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Ghost of Christmas Present, underrated MVP of the entire situation. Constantly, because like, you know, he sees his past and that makes him really regretful, but like the Ghost of Christmas Present is the one that always brings him around and gets him to really comprehend things. And some people do it where like they make him turn a lot harder against the Ghost of Christmas Present. Like he'll experience all these things, he'll see like, you know, you get the classic of like, what's going to happen to Tiny Tim? It's like, well, it doesn't look good. You get like that tends to be like Scrooge's like first true bit of humanity. And some things like this have him pretty much keep those lessons and go into the Ghost of Christmas Future and kind of immediately become very regretful. And other things have him like still just be stubborn to like that last bit, and then the Ghost of Christmas Future really nails down what's going to happen. And that's what gives him the turn.
Yeah.
But no matter what, it's always the shortest part.
Yeah, I mean, this one, because like I said, I was kind of not really reading, but skimming my way through the fucking book as I was reading this. And I mean, this one is pretty close to the book. I mean, in the book, when the Ghost of Christmas Future shows up, I mean, he does have that line like straight out like he has in this, where he's just like, you know, I'm ready to learn, lead me. Like he's ready to continue learning his fucking lessons. So I mean, I don't know, I you know, to be honest, I have not seen like a bunch of adaptations of A Christmas Carol. I just haven't really like sought out many of them. But
and they're just so ubiquitous. Like if you've watched any series, long-running television series, they'll all do A Christmas Carol, and then eventually they'll all do It's a Wonderful Life. It's really funny. If they go long enough, they will do both. Sometimes several times if they've gone super long. Like I'm pretty sure Family Guy has done both on multiple occasions.
For sure.
Everybody goes through like that would be okay. There's my fucking Dan Harmon level joke, because I'm gonna make a long running like 10-season television series where eventually every member of the main cast goes through a Christmas Carol situation. And then on the last one they all like start comparing it. It's like, oh shit, yeah, you had that too.
That's actually hilarious. Yeah, it does seem like I mean, like fucking Batman has had A Christmas Carol done to him, like fucking
several times. Yeah. He's had it in the television series, and he's had it in, of course, Batman Noel's the most famous example. I know there's a Christmas Carol adaptation for Flintstones, which is weird because I think they actually like. I think they put it into a weird time frame where it's dinosaurs and stuff, but it's also Victorian London.
Oh, I love it.
Because there's like, I don't know, it's been way too long since I've seen it, but I have this very particular image of Fred Flintstone in like a Scrooge top hat kind of thing. And I think everything's like trying to be more Victorian, but also dinosaurs.
Actually, that sounds amazing.
Not as steampunk as I think you're hoping, but who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's interesting to see how things adapt it, and this is obviously a lot closer. It's weird because I yeah, I'm such a fan of the Christmas Carol. I've never actually sat down and read the book, which is kind of, it's just one of those things where I'll get to it. But I've seen the story. I know where this is going.
It's really interesting, like, kind of doing that back to back. Is like, okay, so like the scene in Christmas Future when he's overhearing the like people talking about like someone being dead and how happy they are, like that's fucking word for word the book. Mm-hmm. Like that is exactly the conversation in the book. And like a lot of Gonzo's like dialogue narration he gets is just narration from the book. Like that is the opening, Bob Marley is dead, he's dead as a doornail, and then fucking Charles Dickens goes on to be like, of course, I don't know why a doornail is particularly dead. I would think a coffin nail would be because Charles Dickens never knows when to shut the fuck up. But like,
damn,
dude, I mean, he doesn't. I mean, like, Charles Dickens is like long-winded as shit. I mean, A Tale of Two Cities.
I think that was just the era. Name one Victorian writer that isn't long-winded.
I was talking to Carly about that because like, A Tale of Two Cities is one of her favorite books, and she's just like, yeah, back at that time when he was writing, you got paid by the word. So like fucking just so like college essay that shit. But like yeah, and like that's one of the things that immediately stands out to me. Like I love, despite the occasional moments where it might distract, I love Gonzo and Rizzo being the narrators of this and just like getting the narration because Charles Dickens' narration is really enjoyable. Like it's very, very flowery. It's well, not flowery, but it's he had a way with words that I think is compelling and interesting, and I think that a lot of that narration as just lines of dialogue from Gonzo is really really enjoyable and gives it a very like Christmas story time feel, which I feel like is what you want from a Christmas carol.
Yeah, I don't know. I decided to look it up, so I just Googled A Christmas Carol. So there's a Patrick Stewart version. Never seen that.
Yeah. It's like fucking like it's like playing Scrooge is like playing Hamlet. You gotta fucking you
just gotta do it. Like there's several film version starring Alistair Sim. I have no idea who that is. It looks really old.
Yeah. And then didn't like Jim Carrey?
There's a fucking Lego set, man.
What's the like animated Jim Carrey one? Because I never saw that.
That's just Disney's A Christmas Carol.
Okay, I never saw that one.
Yeah, that's the one that's like got that weird motion capture technology and stuff. But there's just so many versions of it. So yeah, I think you're right. It is probably a really good move to have Gonzo there to do the narration, because that's the thing I don't think I see very often is the narrator involved in it.
Yeah,
the like lines of narration.
And I really like that. I like that a lot. And I don't know, some of the bits with Gonzo and Rizzo really work for me. I don't know why, but like early in the movie when he like picks him up and like uses him to wipe the window, and he's like, "Thank you for making me a part of this." That gets me every time, and I don't know why. But yeah, it's really good. I mean, I guess Michael Caine is probably like one of the big standout reasons to watch this also, because he just fucking kills it and is amazing.
It is really funny because Michael Caine is like seen as such I think in the modern context, he just recently retired, but like classic, very respectable actor. And you'd think, oh yeah, that time Michael Caine played Ebenezer Scrooge. Of course, a classic, really down-to-earth, proper adaptation of A Christmas Carol, right? Yeah. Oh, the Muppets were there.
but still is, though, is what I fucking love that about it, because, like, you're just like, oh yeah, Michael Caine is Ebenezer Scrooge. That sounds like something I really want to watch. That sounds like he would really bring his A game and be very compelling. And he does, and it is, and he's just also surrounded by puppets. It's great. Like, he's really good throughout this whole thing. A lot of his dialogue is straight from the book, at least as I was kind of following along and just doing my little book-to-movie experiment. Like, a lot of his dialogue is straight from the book. The bit where he's, like, talking to the kid after he wakes up and is like, what's today? Like, that is just straight the dialogue exchange from the book, and he just really, he sells it. I mean, he kills it. his performance is one of my favorite things in this movie, and I feel like that's pretty universal because it's just really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's interesting to see Kane do it all because it is 100% straight, like you said.
Yeah.
The thing that I was more impressed by is just the way he as an actor is able to go from just such a bastard to being like, I don't know how to describe it. Michael Caine's got a very good kind of shocked and hurt style of performance.
Yeah.
That I think is like, it's, I guess the reason I notice it so much is because he does it so well in like Dark Knight Returns and such. When he's like crying at Bruce's funeral, or Dark Knight Rises, when he's like crying at Bruce's funeral and stuff, that it sticks out to me when he does it because he really does turn like so dramatically in this.
Oh, yeah.
After the Christmas present stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and part of that is just because, you know, it is pretty short. I mean, it's like an hour and 20 minutes, and obviously a good chunk of it is dedicated to some of the slapstick stuff. But I think that even though his turn is pretty hard and pretty quick, I think he really sells it. I mean, that whole scene with when he's looking at his younger self with like whatever his girlfriend's name is, I think it's Belle, and like that kind of like you were saying, that like shocked and hurt that he's able to like bring to it. I totally buy how quickly he changes over, because he seems like a man who's just never really been challenged in a way that he couldn't ignore. And so I think it works really well.
Yeah. One of the bits I really liked, just as contextualizing it within the Muppets context, is the Marley and Marley bit, because of course Jacob Marley's always just been one character in every other adaptation I've ever watched. Yeah. But to have the Marley and Marley bit, and then to just have like his first reaction be, "You always made fun of me."
Yeah.
Like Scrooge is fucking traumatized by
fucking
these
Statler and
bullies.
Waldorf always heckling him. I love it.
Could you imagine working for those guys? It's just like, oh yeah, no, that's my true opponent. One day I'll go up against Statler and Waldorf. Those guys are relentless, man.
Oh, they're my favorite thing in like pretty much any Muppets thing. I fucking love them. They're like what are they in Treasure Planet or Treasure Island? They're like the bus at the front of the ship in Treasure Planet, or I keep saying Treasure Planet in Treasure Island.
In all fairness, Treasure Planet fucking slaps.
Dude, it does though. I love Treasure Planet. But yeah, they're great. The bit they have about fucking Fozzie's speech when we get to see them alive in the flashback is really funny.
That was surprising to see. I don't think I've seen anything like, obviously it brings them back because they're such like iconic Muppets characters, but like I don't think I've seen anything show Jacob Marley more than once. You know?
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're there at the like party or whatever. Yeah, I guess I've never thought about that, because yeah, usually Marley just kind of like, I mean, that's kind of the like, because most adaptations of it are like episodes of TV or whatever, or they're like short. So like usually they're very kind of careful about what they want to use their screen time for. So yeah, it was kind of cool to actually show them alive in flashback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And to just see what they were like was pretty interesting. So I don't know, that was kind of cool. It's just one of those things where I don't think I can ever really just talk about the Christmas Carol, because I'm talking about like all the different versions of it.
Right.
And I wonder what about it makes it such a just universal story that seems so rife for adaptation in this way. or what makes it so beloved that it is.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch The Man Who Invented Christmas?
I did not. I've heard of it. I assume it's just about Charles Dickens writing this story, but I've never actually seen it.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's about Charles Dickens coming off of like just the immense success of his last novel, which I think was Tale of Two Cities or Oliver Twist, one of those two. Just this hugely successful book, and like he's starting to become a legitimately rich man from it. And it's just kind of about all the crazy things he's trying to do to get this very short novella even published before Christmas that year.
Oh.
And he's going crazy. It's like, no, it must have gold trimming, a red cover. I need full color illustrations. And like he's going to an illustrator and he's like, no, it's supposed to be a happy spirit because the guy draws the fucking Ghost of Christmas Present like a fucking ghoul. It's just this insane thing of like, kind of feels like in certain scenes it feels like a Victorian version of like Entourage. Is the only way I could think to describe it. But then like on a deeper level, it's also just about like his process of creation, because he's just spending time trying to think up names for the characters, and like as soon as he gets the name Scrooge, like the character just appears before him. Was really like kind of a cool moment. Yeah, but he's like, and it also just deals like with his own trauma of like the work camps for children and stuff too. So it's really interesting film that kind of goes into what about the story is so appealing, what about it makes it so iconic, and what about the person that did it, because I don't know how true it is, but there is that like feeling of maybe it's such a beloved story because Christmas didn't have the same kind of meaning or specialness to it that it does now, or that meaning was remarkably different before now.
Yeah.
Or before that book, rather.
I mean, yeah, it's like it's a very like universal story in that sense. Like everyone kind of gets lost in their own fucking lives, and like not everyone's gonna be some rich asshole or whatever, but like everyone gets that way. Like everyone just kind of gets absorbed in what's going on in their life and thinking like mostly inward about like themselves or whatever. And so like it's a movie that's kind of reminding people to step back and not get so lost in their own lives and things like that. And I think that's like something that everyone kind of relates to, especially around Christmas, right? Because like Christmas and the holidays are the time where everyone's like fucking stressed out and everyone's trying to get shit done and everyone's trying to do all this, and like Christmas Carol is like a story that tells you to just fucking slow down and enjoy your life. And I think that's, I don't know, I guess that's just a very appealing message to kind of rehash around the holidays.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. It's a really fascinating and you know, very universal story in that way. As far as this adaptation goes, I guess the thing is to just start talking about like the choices it makes and stuff. Yeah. I guess I'm more of a fan of musicals now than I ever have been before. But I do always like question the wiseness, the wisdom of putting songs into something that wasn't written for song.
Yeah.
And so but I mean, Muppets are kind of like known for musical numbers to a certain extent. So what's your opinion on the songs in this?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that's every time I watch it, I like almost forget that it's a musical for a minute. And then kind of the opening number starts. And I think most of them are okay and at least have like pretty fun little bits and lines. You know, One More Sleep Till Christmas kind of feels like a bit of an instant classic. Like it just that one feels like if you're gonna pick like a icon
Radio level song.
yeah, like
for
an
it or something.
iconic Muppets song from this. I guess it would be that one. I think they're mostly okay. I don't know that it needed to be a musical. I mean, if you took all the songs out, it would be way shorter. But I certainly don't dislike them, and it is very fitting with the Muppets. And here's what's interesting, you know, I mean, like the established Muppets, with the exception of you know, the narrator and Cratchit, they're mostly kind of background characters, you know, like Fozzie's just kind of there in the background, and you know, the Marley brothers are there, but like you're really mostly focused on Scrooge and like the ghosts, and since none of the ghosts are Muppets, or at least pre-existing Muppets, most of your fan favorite Muppets are just kind of in the background except for a couple of them. So I think the songs give you a chance to put a little bit more focus back on the Muppets and you know, give them their kind of time to shine. Which I'm
Yeah, and I still think that's probably the part that I don't know if it counts as like the weakest part of it, but it is the thing that surprises me the most, is not doing that typical move of adaptation in just creating original Muppets for the ghosts. I was really surprised by.
well, they just went with very these are what the ghosts are in the books. Like, I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to, is that they clearly were very committed to doing an extremely faithful adaptation of the book. And so, you know,
Ah, yes, I remember in the classic scene in Charles Dickens, when Rizzo falls
yeah,
into the ice
exactly.
and freezes into a ratsicle. Truly.
so glad they brought that cinema. But like, yeah, that's what I mean, that's what I kind of love about it, is that you're like, this is so word for word the book in so many places, and then there are just like Muppets around the corner, which is very funny to me. So it's like they had to like make a choice, right? Because they're like, look, we're pulling narration from the book, we're pulling just straight up dialogue from the book left and right, we're using entire dialogue sequences and exchanges. And so at that point you have a choice to make. We're adapting so much of it straight. Do we adapt the ghosts straight, or do we try to like do something unexpected or something subversive or whatever with the ghosts? So I mean, ultimately they just decided to straight up do the ghosts from the book, which I mean, yeah, I could see an argument that it might have been a cool choice to cast different Muppets as the ghosts, but since I am very much enjoying how much of a straight adaptation it is, I ultimately am good with it, and I think that the ghosts are pretty entertaining, especially the Ghost of Christmas Present. The Ghost of Christmas Past is kind of fucking unsettling to look at, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's just that weird like floating head.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just ask you this out of curiosity. If you were to choose Muppets to be the different ghosts, who would you go with?
Like, Fozzie would have to be the Ghost of Christmas Present. Uncle Deadly is... I would probably make Uncle Deadly the Ghost of Christmas Future.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, look up...
I'm so not a Muppets fan, dude. You don't even
Uncle
understand.
Deadly's kind of a deep cut, but he got a lot more screen time when they did the, like... when... I forget what... It was maybe ABC. So, like, Uncle Deadly is in the, like, 2010s Muppet movie with the guy from How I Met Your Mother. He's in that, and then he's in the... because there was this really short-lived, I think it was by ABC, it was like a Muppet sitcom where it was like an Office-style mockumentary sitcom about the Muppets being the ones who like run a talk show. It was very like 30 Rock, and Uncle Deadly is like Miss Piggy's assistant in that show. And I think that show is honestly pretty funny and should not have gotten canceled, and I think Uncle Deadly is hilarious in it. But I guess I would have used Uncle Deadly for Ghost of Christmas Future. I have no idea for Ghost of Christmas Past. Maybe Janice from the band, but I don't No, she wouldn't have been big enough. I really don't know who I would have used for Christmas Past, to be honest. Maybe Miss Piggy, if you got to go with a woman for that ghost.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just curious. Maybe they had the same conversation and just couldn't decide who to do.
I think that's very possible. I mean, like, 'cause that was definitely a conversation for sure. 'Cause I mean, that was probably not a decision they made lightly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it works, and I like that I like the things they create for him. Like you said, the Ghost of Christmas Future. That's just, it's always something like that. You know, it's always pretty brooding and kind of scary. I do like their version of the Ghost of Christmas Present. It is very happy looking. It is very joyful. And so I like that quite a bit. I don't think it's my favorite version of that. I really do like the one from Jim Carrey's animated movie, because I think the quirk about that is Jim Carrey plays most of the characters in that one.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he's also the Ghost of Christmas Present. One thing I liked about this was the fact that they obviously kept either directly changing out, multiple models or multiple Muppets for the Ghost of Christmas Present, but like you actually see him like aging as the story goes on. I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, it happens pretty suddenly because he's not really aged at all until we're at Bob Cratchit's house for a good long while. And then he just kind of comes on screen again, and he's got like gray in his hair, and the next time you see him, he's like all grayed and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe it should have been done just a little more gradually, but it's still pretty cool how they managed to pull that off.
Yeah, it's definitely a neat detail. And I mean, design-wise, he looks like he's pretty much just like Ghost of Christmas Present from like the sketches from like the illustrations of the original thing. I mean, like, it's just, they literally took the like illustrations and descriptions and just made it, which is pretty cool, honestly.
And that makes the Ghost of Christmas Past in the fucking book very unsettling.
Yeah, she is. I was reading the thing, and like they do describe her as being like young and like childlike, and I don't know. There's something very.
They describe her as a floating head.
Yeah, I don't know about that. There's something very like uncanny about the Ghost of Christmas Past in this. I don't know what it is. She's creepy.
I think it's the eyes. She's got like those weird eyes in this, and she's just floating the whole time and stuff. So that one's a bit weird.
But I mean, I think for the most part, I think the Muppets themselves are used pretty well. Most of them are just for like bits, like Sam Eagle being his teacher and having the whole bit about like it's the American way, and then having to be like the British way. Which is
That's pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of that is really good. I love Animal. He doesn't get much to do because the band is just sort of in the background of the party, but they're all fun. So I think, like, I don't know. It is weird because the Muppets do sort of take a like back seat, except for the narrator and kind of Kermit. But I feel like it works. I
think it was a good decision to make Kermit Bob Cratchit.
Yeah.
I don't see how you could really make an argument for any other character in that role as like the most prominent Muppet character. It was a little weird to see Kermit and Miss Piggy's literal children. Like, I don't think that I've seen that anywhere else.
Yeah, because I know they have, there is a, oh man, now I'm losing my Muppets cred. There is a smaller frog who is related to Kermit in some way, and that's one of the two kids. But I'm not sure. Yeah, it's usually not their kid. It's usually like a relative of some kind.
I wish they just had the fucking balls to give me some green pigs, man. Just fucking.
Yeah, because they're just mini
cowards.
Piggy and Kermits.
Yeah, fucking cowards. Make Tiny Tim a green pig. Do it, you fucking cowards.
Don't they? Isn't that like a Family Guy bit where like Mrs. Piggy and Kermit have a kid and it's like a horrible like frog pig hybrid mutation thing?
I don't know. I want to see it now, like with, like a pig with frog legs. It jumps really high into shit.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember I showed this to my parents last year because I was like, no, fuck you guys, we're watching, this is our Christmas movie that we're watching this year, we're watching this. And my mom, she usually gets emotional about things, but she's sitting there like fucking crying over a dead puppet frog when they like move over to Tiny Tim's like hat and crutch or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, that is sad. He's the little puppet frog is dead, and it's really funny because like you're playing it straight, and so like if you're playing Christmas Carol straight, then that needs to be really emotional and sad that like this little kid is dead, but like he's a fucking puppet frog. Like it's very funny to me that like juxtaposition of playing it completely emotionally straight, but it's about puppets.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the rub about just how like deep it goes, right? Just like how emotional and connected you can get to these characters. I think it was one of the guys who's in Flight of the Conchords did the songs for the 2011, 2010, whatever Muppets movie.
Yeah.
And he talked about how when he was writing the songs, I don't know what you'd call him, the producer of the series or whatever. Like had to go through and edit his things, and they like there's some stuff like, oh, the chickens don't talk. The chickens just balk.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have them have dialogue. But then the one that was really funny is like he had a line. It's like the Muppets do not. The Muppets have always been Muppets. They were nothing else before. There was no inception of Muppets, because he had a line where he's like, where Kermit sings "Ever since I was a little piece of felt," and they were like, no, the Muppets were not created. The Muppets just came into being fully formed as Muppets, apparently. So it's like it's kind of funny that there's like such a lore and a characterization cut to it, because like it's even in the credits, right, where it's like Kermit the Frog as Bob Cratchit, right?
Yep.
There's no like deeper thing to it. There's no this person as Kermit the Frog playing Bob Cratchit.
To be fair, that would be hard because it'd be like Frank Oz as, and then list half the cast.
Okay, your point.
Well, no, I'm just saying it would be like when they're doing like the opening bit, because like even in the beginning when they're doing like the opening credits, they just have like they have like Rizzo, or not Rizzo, they have Gonzo as Charles Dickens, which I think just adds to the kind of fun story time nature. And I think it would be amusing if you had like the opening credits and it was like Steve, whatever the guy's last name is, as, and then list like every like he, because like three people are like half the Muppets, which is very funny to me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's funny, and it kind of, I think, speaks to the level that the Muppets are kind of beings unto themselves, like cultural icons, that you could just say Kermit the Frog is playing this character, which really makes me want to like fucking cast Kermit the Frog in something not related to the Muppets whatsoever. Kermit the Frog in the next Lethal Weapon reboot. Let's just fucking... It's the only Muppet in the entire thing.
I'm not convinced that like adding a handful of Muppets to anything would not make it better.
Next Christopher Nolan movie gets Miss Piggy as the lead female role.
I unironically, while I do not think Inception is bad, I might have enjoyed it more if Miss Piggy was in the Marion Cotillard role.
It's just played, like none of the dialogue changes. No one bats an eye at it or anything. Like it's weird. It's just her.
Like she still like jumps out of the like apartment window or whatever, but it's like Mrs. Piggy. Oh god, that'd be great.
That's pretty good.
But no, you're right. I love that about the Muppets universe. There's like, because like in reality, like there's like a meta-ness to the Muppets. Like you get the sense that all these movies are movies that the Muppets themselves are making in universe, and we're just getting to see them, because that's exactly how the original Muppets movie treats it. Like the original Muppets movie from like the 70s or whatever, that has like, you know, Steve Martin and all those people in it. Like that's exactly the framing device. It's like, yeah, these Muppets are all people, and here's this movie they made together, and we are now getting to watch it. And like having that consistency throughout all the movies, I think is really, really fun.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to just see it all kind of come together and how it all works out. But I don't know, I'm not sure. I don't know what point I'm trying to make anymore.
No,
I'm confused and scared.
No, it's okay.
Tangentially related. So, I'm assuming you're the Muppet expert in every single regard now. Everyone, just so you know, any Muppets related questions, come to expert that Matt kid. Yep. He's got an encyclopedic knowledge of the Muppets. Mm-hmm. There's nothing Muppets he does not know, and he in fact puts even the biggest, like, he's constantly editing the Wikipedia articles and stuff.
Correct. Luke Skywalker's episode 5 outfit, that jumpsuit, first seen on an episode of the Muppets show.
There we go. So here's the question, because I was so confused by someone stating this at work a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And so I'm going to ask someone with some Muppets knowledge.
Okay.
Is Muppets a spin-off of Sesame Street? Like, was Kermit actually on Sesame Street originally?
Like, here's how I understand it. The Sesame Street characters are Muppets. They are all Muppets. Every single one of them. All the Muppets and everyone on Sesame Street that is not just a person. They are all Muppets. And, like, Big Bird himself even has a cameo in the Muppet movie from 1970 or whenever that first Muppet movie came out. I don't believe it is a spin-off or anything. Like, there's not really a history of them interacting. Like Big Bird showing up in the Muppet movie is, like, in a weird way, almost similar to when fucking Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse showed up together in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, they don't really mix, but they were all made by the same creator. They're all Jim Henson creations. They are all technically Muppets. And so you theoretically could make the argument that Sesame Street and the Muppets take place in the same universe, because in the original Muppets show, it's treated as like that's why the ABC sitcom was the way it was, because like the original Muppet show is just about these characters as if they were real, putting on a variety show, and you get to see some of the like backstage antics and them preparing the variety show. So when ABC was like, let's make a sitcom and kind of revitalize the Muppets, that's why they did that like 30 Rock style. It's about the Muppets putting on a talk show where Miss Piggy is the host, and we get to see all their like backstage antics, because that's very much an updated version of what they were already doing, and people hated it for some reason. But like, they are technically all Muppets, but I don't know that I would consider one a spin-off exactly. I would have to look into it a little bit more.
Okay, because I was told that like Kermit was introduced on Sesame Street and then he went off and had his own show.
I don't know that that's true, because I know my Muppets, but I really do not know Sesame Street that well, so I don't know. I would have to look that up.
Okay. I don't know. I was just like, I got into that thing where I was in like a huge argument, like, no, you fucking, like, I was obviously playing it up. I was like, no, you fucking idiot. Kermit's a Muppet, not from Sesame Street. Elmo's not a fucking Muppet, you piece of shit. And he's like, no, they are. It's the same thing. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I will look that up and get back to you at some point. But yeah, they are all Muppets though. All of them are considered Muppets, which is kind of amusing.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. I'm feeling the well getting a bit dry on this one, unless there's something else in particular you wanted to discuss though.
I don't know, man. It's an 1.5-hour movie with puppets in it. I don't have a lot to say. It's really good. Go watch it.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else like super huge. Do you have a favorite Muppet?
Is the spider that's like piddling the wares of Scrooge, is he like a recurring character, or?
Oh, the guy who's like in the alleyway and doing the...
Yeah.
I want to say yes. He's...
I just thought his design was cool. I was really impressed they're like managing to puppeteer a spider really well. That's one of those things that just seems like inherently difficult.
He's called Old Joe. I think he's mostly just in this, though.
No, boo. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, then it's terrible, and everyone that likes Muppets should feel bad. Give Old Joe, release the Old Joe cut. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed myself watching it. Leah watched about the first half hour or so with us before she got tired and we sent her to bed. But otherwise, it was, it's a good family thing. My nieces were watching it, I think, around last Christmas, and they seemed to like it. So it definitely is a thing that seems to hold up really well for kids. I mean, it's not that old. It's 92. I was 2 years old, but hey, what can you say?
I was -1.
Listen here, you little shit. Just crawl back inside your fucking fetal sack and leave me be.
Yeah, will do.
Oh, God. But otherwise, I don't know. I think it holds up pretty well for kids, so that's nice. And yeah, it was a pretty good one. Let's go ahead and go on to ratings. Go first. You. Do it.
Okay. For me, I actually really enjoy this. And like, I don't really have any issues with it. I love it. So I'm gonna give it straight up, 5 out of 5, little tiny frog crutches.
Little frog crutches.
Yep.
Nice. I really enjoyed it too. I did have a good time with it. I think the only thing that really didn't work for me was some of the slapstick humor, because I don't think Dickens is really written for that. Sure. So I guess I'll give it 4 out of 5 Ratsicles.
There you go. 4 out of 5 Charles Dickens.
Rizzocicles?
Yeah. Rizzo the Ratsicles.
There we go. Yeah, I think that'll wrap it up. Okay, so it's my turn next week, and I'm gonna do the thing everybody hates, and I'm gonna make us watch 2 things.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's happening. Because I recently watched my mom's favorite Christmas movie last week, and she's very particular about this.
Okay.
So we watched Miracle on 34th from 1947.
Okay, sure.
And she's very particular that is her favorite Christmas movie. She's like, it's the best Christmas movie. She will not watch the remake from 94. She hates it.
Okay.
So I want to do a Geeky Gentleman episode where we watch the original from 47 and the remake from 94. They're both on HBO Max.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a comparison, contrast, remake review.
Got it. Okay.
Should be interesting.
Okay. Yeah. I've actually never seen either of these.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, watch them in the order in which they came out. So watch the 47 one first, I think, just to be fair. And we'll see how it goes. should be a good watch, good discussion. And Steve's gonna hate me, but I mean they're not super long. They're both under 2 hours, so split them up, watch them different days or something. I felt bad when last time I think I did this was all the way back when we did It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and Rat Race. Because, like, fucking Mad World's, like, 3 hours long, and Rat Race surprised me at about 2.5 hours. Okay. I thought it was much shorter than that. You don't see many comedies break the 2 hour mark, but guess they dared to be brave.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So that'll be what we do next week. So everyone, please come and enjoy that. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I am the Christmas erotica. Yeah.
Getting laid underneath that Christmas tree.
Just shove that right up there. That would be big. That would burn so badly.
Matt, I'm really curious to read your Christmas erotica now, where you're like, you do like, oh, she started fucking herself with the can. And then it just like starts going on like how bad an idea that was.
Oh god,
and how painful.
There's like a market for that, right? Like humorous erotica short stories, like that. That's got to be a market.
I'm sure.
I can break into.
You could do that. You could make that take off. And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we'll be discussing things.
What the
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!